Another thing Roosevelt said was that far and away the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. What are you working on that's not worth doing? Time is the only asset you can make more of. Spend it wisely. My name is Kyle Willis, and this is Marketing from the Roosevelt Room. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing from the Roosevelt Room. I am very grateful to have you with us today. We'll be wrapping up our Teddy series. If you joined us from the beginning, you may have noticed we've been using a different quote from the life of Theodore Roosevelt, our beloved president, as some type of inspiration for our topic and given some type of conversation as it relates to business, human behavior, and today I want to wrap up this series using a new quote from him and be able to make it a little more practical just to life in general as a business owner, entrepreneur, employee, whatever bucket you fall in. Today is going to be something that you're going to be able to apply to your life right now. So the more I've been studying this Teddy guy, the more I've fallen in love with who he is as our nation's leader. I gotta be honest, I did not know too much about Theodore Roosevelt when I began this thing. It really came out of me recording these podcasts in the cigar lounge here in Seattle called the Vertigo Club, and they have a conference room called the Roosevelt Room. I love this room. It's beautiful. It's got a big old moose inside of it, and Teddy adorns one of the walls, and he was my buddy to start this thing. As a man who loves branding and being able to create a brand that people can follow and understand, I thought Teddy would be a good guy for me to partner up with and create a brand around this podcast. But the more I get into understanding the life of Theodore Roosevelt, I keep pulling away these gold nuggets that serve as inspiration to me as a business owner, entrepreneur, father, and husband, and as a friend. So we kicked off our new podcast here a few weeks ago with different quotes from Teddy, and I got one more for you, but this time it's more for practical application than it is for inspiration or a look at human behavior. In studying Roosevelt, I came upon a life hack he adopted while in college that allowed him to be extremely productive. Coincidentally, it was something I was trained in by a systems and procedure experts, and I paid over $10,000 for this education. So before we get there, though, let me bring up this quote by Teddy that I've been crushing on, and then we'll bring it all back around to this life hack. So Teddy says that we cannot do great deeds unless we're willing to do the small things that make up the sum of greatness. Let me say that one more time. We cannot do great deeds unless we are willing to do the small things that make up the sum of greatness. Let that sink in for a moment. It's so easy to get caught up in the big, audacious goals of life that we neglect the important things staring right in front of us. One of the constant battles that I go through is my addiction in clearing notifications on my phone. If I don't have inbox zero, I get antsy. Those notifications pop up. I don't care if it's spam mail. I gotta delete that message. I gotta open that text. I just gotta get rid of it. I see that red numbered bubble on my iPhone and I gotta clear it. Running a digital marketing agency, I get hundreds of emails and calls and texts a day. When I step out of a meeting, it can take a good 10 minutes just to get through all the alerts that I missed. And while my clients love our speed to respond, you know who pays the price? My wife, my children, myself. I have this big audacious goal to be a 7-8 figure agency and act like if I don't respond to the person in the moment, that goal will never be realized. It's a condition I've put on myself. It's a belief that I've had that, I'm going to lose that client if I don't respond quickly. I'm going to miss out on that opportunity if I don't answer them right away. And then just the necessity, the need to try to clear those red bubbles. But as a result, I miss out on the small things that make up what's truly great. I've had to train myself to put down my phone during the hours of 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. That's my family time. That time is protected. Checking notifications might seem trivial, but it's missing the small things that's keeping me from greatness. What are the small things in your life that you've been neglecting? What are the small things in your business, in your personal life, that must be completed in order for the great deeds to come your way? Teddy Roosevelt was quite an accomplished guy. As a student at Harvard University, he carried a full course load and found time for boxing, wrestling, bodybuilding, dance lessons, poetry readings, and was obsessed with nature. He'd start the day around 8:30 in the morning and said and he also planned to make sure that he'd spend no more than a quarter of his day studying. He said what he'd do is plan out his primary activities between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. Now, this included all his classes, going to gym, having lunch, any of those primary activities that happened every day in that 8:30 to 4:30 window. Any gaps that did not have something planned or dedicated to studying, and he protected those gaps. He made sure to seclude himself so he'd not have to be around others wanting to talk. He only brought with him the book or books that he needed for that class. And that gap was his only time to study for that class. Now, he benefited from not having a smart computer in his hand at all times like we deal with, and the constant pressure of having so much at arm's reach at any time. But this guy understood that if he missed those gaps that he was trying to protect, there would be no follow-up opportunity. So what he'd do is plan out what needed to get done, how much time it'd take him, and the deadline in which he'd need in order to be able to reach that goal. He always had a plan and how to protect those special moments, those gaps in his schedule. Then Roosevelt would allow himself to enjoy his evenings. After 4:30, it was his time to do whatever he wanted to do. He knew that if he was able to hold himself to that 8:30 to 4:30 window, then he was going to have all the time he needed for those extracurriculars he enjoyed so much. Intense, but it worked. And if you didn't know, as I shared before, Roosevelt was America's first Nobel Peace Prize winner. This guy understood how to get things done in the same 24 hours you and I have every day. Recently, I hired a systems and procedures expert to step in to know the quo, examine our internal processes, and make some recommendations on how to improve our productivity, our communication, and streamline our internal efforts. I paid over $10,000 for this consultant, and one of the very first things he had me do was to sit down and map out what are the regular occurring activities in my day. This very same way that Teddy did with that 8:30 to 4:30 window. I mapped out when I usually wake up, when I usually go to the gym, when I usually need to go to bed, or when I need to be around to take my daughter to ballet, or be around to help my infant and put her down for nap. So whatever the things that my responsibilities were, that were the non-negotiables, I got to protect, structured all that out, and then planned out what else needed to go in my day. Now, it may sound rigid because now my day is planned out from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. That may sound inflexible for the unplanned things of life, but the reality is those should happen so infrequently, it's really a moot issue. If you have so many unplanned things happening in your day that you can't schedule out and structure your time, then you got other issues to worry about. My day now has high leverage windows where I lock myself down, turn off email, silent my phone, put it away from my eyes' reach, and just focus on one or two big projects. Therefore, I know I can get this done today. When I look back at my day at whatever time I go to bed, I can look back and say, yep, I got that done, and I know what I need to be focusing on tomorrow. So now I can schedule out when I'll take calls or meetings. And if a client wants to talk outside that allotted time, I have to tell them no. I got to protect that time. You see, I'm the only one in control of my schedule, and it's on me to protect it. Time is the one asset I can never make more of. In structuring my schedule, I've been able to truly be present with my family, attend my daughter's ballet recitals, put my phone down when I'm with my wife, out to dinner, and truly be in the moment. Now, I'm not perfect, and I still have room for improvement, but it's the small things that pave the way for great deeds. Another thing Roosevelt said was that far and away the best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. What are you working on that's not worth doing? Time is the only asset you can make more of. Spend it wisely. Hey, I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Marketing from the Roosevelt Room. I know you have a lot of options out there when it comes to podcasts, and want to sincerely appreciate the time you've given to joining me here today. If you have enjoyed this conversation, I would love to invite you to join our free Facebook group called Marketing from the Roosevelt Room, where we take these conversations, open it up in longer format, do some live video, bring in our interviewers for Q&A, and get more of a dialogue going. You can find us at facebook.com/groups. That's group is in plural, groups/marketing with Roosevelt, or just search for Marketing from the Roosevelt Room with Kyle Willis. And come join us. Would love to connect. If you're interested in knowing how to get some of these services done for your business, we do offer a done for you service through our digital marketing agency, No to the Quo, and you can find us at notothequo.com. Again, thank you for joining. Looking forward to connecting with you on the next episode. Have a great day.